This video is brought to you by the Clark Clan Ironworks engineering firm. With an industry's leading rate of 75% of our buildings still standing upon completion. Let KCI tackle your next construction project.
Hey gang! Using the promo code MTGMudsta, all caps, will get you 10% off any order over $10 at Flipside Gaming. It'll also get you 10% off any orders of singles at Multizone. And it'll get you 10% off most products at Original Magic Art, with the exceptions of some paintings. If these fine sites don't have what you're looking for, you can also consider using my affiliate link when ordering from TCG Player. And if you'd like to join the Generic Goblin Gang to support this channel, there's a link to my Patreon in the description below. Today is another Multizone Matchup Monday, featuring a brand new friend. This week, Rickard is joining us, and he's playing his Edgar Markov deck, keeping a Rupture Spire, Olivia Voldaren, Twilight Prophet, Falconwrath Noble, Rogue's Passage, Caves of Koilos, and a Plains. Miguel is playing his Kykar deck, keeping Silence, 2 Islands, Mountain, Talrand, Arcane Denial, and Grapeshot. Kevin has borrowed Rickard's Admiral Beckett Brass deck, keeping a Goblin Trailblazer, an Island, a Fathom Fleet Captain, Foreboding Ruins, Izzet Signet, Captivating Crew, and War Cadence. I am taking Mistform Ultimus out since Tribal seems to be the theme right now, and I'm playing an Island, Arcane Denial, Relic of Genitus, Diviner's Wand, Seat of the Synod, Lord of the Unreal, and Rite of Replication. Miguel wins the die roll and starts us off. Miguel plays an Island. Kevin plays a Tap Foreboding Ruins. I play a Seat of the Synod. Rickard plays a Caves of Koilos. Miguel plays a Mountain and passes. Kevin plays an Island and casts his Izzet Signet. I play an Island as well, and I cast a Sapphire Medallion. Rickard plays a Plains and loses 1 life to the Caves to cast Olivia's Bloodsworn. Edgar rewards him by giving him a Vampire token. Miguel plays an Island and passes. Kevin plays another Island and activates a Signet to help cast a Goblin Trailblazer. He follows up with a Fathom Fleet Captain, and he passes turn. I play Nykthos as my land for turn, and pay only 1 mana for a Stonybrook Banneret. This lets me cast Mistform Ultimus for only 2, but unfortunately it's countered by Miguel with an Arcane Denial. Rickard untaps and draws, and Miguel and I join him from the delayed trigger from the Arcane Denial. Rickard then plays a Rupture Spire, paying the 1 for the cost as it enters, and he hits Miguel with Olivia's Bloodsworn. Miguel plays a Mountain before tapping out for Sentinel Tower. Kevin draws and heads to combat. He swings both of his pirates to Miguel and pays for the Fathom Fleet Captains on attack trigger to make a 2/2 pirate token with Menace. Kevin then plays a Smoldering Marsh in his post-combat main phase, and he casts War Cadence. I play a Stoneforge Masterwork in my main phase, and then a Relic of Progenitus. I hop on the bandwagon as well, hitting Miguel with a Stonybrook Banneret before passing to Rickard. Rickard plays a Westvale Abbey, and Kevin finds his token. We then see a Falconwrath Noble, getting another Vampire token for Edgar, and Rickard passes turn. Miguel plays a Mountain and casts Expedite, giving one of Kevin's creatures haste and drawing a card. He also has the Sentinel Tower deal 1 to the Fathom Fleet Captain. Miguel then plays Crash Through, giving his non-existent board Trample, and dealing 2 to Kevin's other pirate, and drawing a card. Rickard realizes his Noble should have triggered twice, and he drains Miguel both times. Miguel then casts a Grapeshot, and he resolves a tower trigger first, taking out the Noble, which on death has Rickard draining Miguel for 1. Miguel then uses the Grapeshot and Storm copies to take out the rest of Rickard's board. Kevin casts Admiral Beckett Brass in his main phase, and swings the Pirate token at Miguel for 3. He plays a Temple of Deceit which comes in tapped, and he scries, bottoming the card. I play an Island and pay only 3 for a Docent of Perfection. I also go at Miguel because I'm a sheep, and I swing my creatures at him before passing turn. Rickard plays a Swamp, and he casts a Bloodthorn Vampire, gaining a token from the Eminence trigger. He then passes. Miguel finally finds his 3rd color, and he casts Kykar, which I counter with my Arcane Denial in one of the best comebacks of all time. He then plays a Warlord's Fury, drawing a card and dealing 1 with his tower to my Banneret. I also realized that I got a wizard token from the docent for casting a spell, and I put the token onto the field. Miguel then casts Renegade Tactics, blasting Kevin in the face for 2. Kevin draws, and Miguel and I draw as well. Kevin then puts Miguel to 20 by swinging both of his creatures at him, and passes. I play a Marrow Reejery in my main phase, and equip the Stoneforge Masterwork onto the docent, making it a 6/5 before passing turn. Rickard plays a Rogue's Passage and brings out Edgar Markov, but before even letting him move from the command zone, Kevin counters it with a Spell Swindle. With nothing else, Rickard passes. Miguel plays a Plains and casts Kykar again, who resolves this time before he passes turn. At the beginning of Kevin's upkeep, Miguel casts Silence, gaining a Spirit token, and he pings General Beckett Brass for 1 with a Tower trigger. Kevin then proceeds to hit Miguel for 3 with the Menace Pirate token, and he passes turn. I activate Nykthos for 3 blue, and I cast an Amoeboid Changeling for 1 blue. It counts as a Merfolk, and I get to untap Nykthos with my Reejery trigger. With the Changeling resolving, I then use a 2 floating blue to reactivate Nykthos, this time for 4. I have to tap an island to help recast Mistform Ultimus. Regrettably, I forget about my Reejery trigger, and I pass to Rickard. Rickard plays a Stormkirk Captain and gains a Vampire token, and Kevin offers to make Rickard's attack easier with his War Cadence as long as Rickard agrees not to attack Kevin. Rickard thanks Kevin for the offer, but instead decides to pass. Miguel plays a land, and he casts an Izzet Signet, gaining a Spirit token from Kykar. He goes to combat, swinging at Kevin for 4. At the end of his turn, I activate my Relic to make Miguel exile a card from his yard. Kevin plays a Captivating Crew in his main phase, and uses its ability to steal my Mistform, which works really well because he's also a pirate. Kevin then swings 3 pirates at Miguel, who, before blockers, uses Evacuation to return all creatures to their owner's hands. Kevin then recasts Admiral Beckett Brass, and he passes turn. I recast my Reejery, and then the Amoeboid, untapping a land from the Reejery trigger, before then playing a Lord of the Unreal. Rickard recasts his Stormkirk Captain, gaining a token, and then the Bloodthrone Vampire, gaining essentially what he had before passing to Miguel. Miguel plays an island, and we say hello to Kykar again. He then plays an Electrostatic Field, and passes. Kevin plays a Deadeye Tracker, and then a Slippery Scoundrel before passing turn. I play an island, and activate Nykthos. I use 3 of it to cast Mistform again, untapping Nykthos. And I tap the Nykthos once more, floating even more mana for a Mind Over Matter. I then discard a card to untap Nykthos, and discard 2 more to untap 2 lands, and then once again reactivate it for 9 blue. I put the stack Rite of Replication kicked and target my Reejery, which Richter is all too happy to remove with the Swords to Plowshares and fizzle my spell. I gain some life, and I pass my turn. Rickard casts a Patron of the Vein in his main phase, and as it enters, we discuss what he should blow up. He takes out my Lord of the Unreal, which gets exiled as it dies, and it pumps his team of vampires with a +1/+1 counter. He then heads to combat and swings 2 tokens at Miguel and the Bloodthrone Vampire at me. Miguel blocks one with the Electrostatic Field and takes the hit from the other, while I just take the hit. Miguel casts Mind Stone in his main phase, gaining a Spirit token from Kykar. He then sacrifices it to draw a card and plays out Talrand. We then see a tapped Azorius Chancery come in, bouncing a Plains back to his hand. Kevin activates his War Cadence, paying 1 into the X, meaning his creatures can only be blocked if the opponent pays 1 mana per creature. He swings his pirate army at Rickard, who can't block, and takes the hit. Kevin then plays out a Ruthless Knave, and moving to his end step, gets the Beckett Brass trigger, which allows Kevin to steal Patron of the Vein away from Rickard. I draw and play an island. I activate Nykthos for a nice chunk of blue, and I cast a Galecaster Colossus, and pass. Rickard drops Olivia Voldaren, and gets a Vampire token from Edgar Markov's Eminence trigger. He doesn't want to swing just yet, and he passes to Miguel. Miguel simply plays an Izzet Boilerworks, returning a basic and passing turn. Kevin draws and sends 3 pirates at Rickard. And before moving to blockers, he activates the War Cadence again, putting 3 into the X. He connects, dealing 10, and gaining another delay trigger from Admiral Beckett Brass. Kevin then moves to his end step and steals Olivia Voldaren. At this point, I also decide to crack my relic, exiling all graveyards and drawing a card. Kevin responds to this by exploring with his Deadeye and reveals a rapid hybridization off the top. I then also decide to bounce some stuff with the Galecaster Colossus and hit the Patron of the Vein, Admiral Beckett Brass, and Kykar. I play a Ghost Quarter before casting Gale Rider Sliver. I then equip Mistform with a Stoneforge Masterwork, and go at Kevin for 7, which rhymes. Rickard recasts his patron in his main phase, who comes in and destroys Olivia Voldaren. This has the sad reality of her being exiled, but at least she pumps Rickard's board by another +1/+1 counter. Rickard then heads to combat, swinging 2 tokens at Kevin, and a token and the Blood Throne at Miguel. Miguel blocks with his 2 creatures, who die to the first strike vampires, and Kevin takes the damage. With Miguel's creatures hitting the bin, Rickard gets to exile them and adds 2 more +1/+1 counters to his board. Miguel simply recasts his commander in his main phase, and passes. Kevin also recasts his commander in his main phase, and activates the War Cadence again, putting 2 into the X. He goes at Rickard again with 3 pirates, connecting. Kevin then passes through his phases to steal a patron again, and at the end of turn, I tap the Colossus and Amoeboid to bounce 2 of Rickard's tokens into oblivion. For my turn, I draw and play an island. Rickard untaps and draws. He uses Vindicate in his main phase to destroy the War Cadence that's been a pain in his side these last few turns, and he then brings out a Legion Lieutenant, gaining another Vampire token. Moving to combat, he swings 2 tokens at Miguel. Before moving to blockers though, Miguel casts Mystical Tutor, getting 2 tokens, 1 from Kykar and 1 from Talleyrand, and he deals 1 to Rickard with the Sentinel Tower trigger. He then blocks with 1 apiece, and goes to grab Finale of Revelation and put it on top. Rickard then passes. Miguel draws and we know it's the finale, and he casts it, paying 12 mana into the spell so that the X will be 10. He shuffles his graveyard into his library, and draws 10 cards, and untaps 5 lands, and also no longer has the maximum hand size, which is a lot for 1 spell. He also gains a token from Talleyrand and Kykar, and he deals 1 to Rickard from the tower trigger. Miguel then plays a Plains, and he casts Opt, gaining more tokens, and this time deals 2 to Rickard. He then plays Ponder, dealing 3 to Rickard, and gaining even more tokens. He then plays out a Soul Ring, but with the spell and Kykar's trigger on the stack, I tap my Galecaster Colossus to bounce the Sentinel Tower back to his hand. The spell then resolves, and so does the trigger, and Miguel then passes. Kevin draws, and casts Rakdos Signet, and then a Kitesail Freebooter. Unfortunately for the Freebooter, this is countered by Miguel with a counterspell. Kevin then swings the Patron and Slippery Scoundrel at Miguel. Miguel puts enough tokens in front of the vampire to take it out, but before damage is dealt, Kevin uses Rapid Hybridization to take out Talleyrand. This triggers the Patron, giving it a +1/+1 counter as Talleyrand dies, plus it doesn't die to the tokens now, and with nothing else, Kevin passes. I draw and I cast Azami. This, with Mind Over Matter, will let me draw out my entire library unless someone has removal. I do so, and with nothing from my opponents, I'm able to win via Labman combo, and failing to draw a card with the Mind Over Matter and Azami. I know combo wins aren't everyone's cup of tea, but at the time that I was able to do it, everyone was basically tapped out, and I'd seen a lot of answers being thrown around. I think by this point people were running out of answers, and I was very lucky to be able to resolve the Labman and draw a card without any kind of disruption. If you hadn't realized it by now, Miguel was running a Kykar Storm variant, and he had such a great low curve that worked really well with the Sentinel Tower. I think one of the best turns this game was when Miguel cast 2 red spells and a Grape Shot and effectively removed every creature from the board. I always admire a person who's able to pick up someone else's deck and play it relatively well, and I think Kevin did a great job with the Admiral Beckett Brass. All he knew going into it was that it was Pirate Tribal, and I think he was using his resources very well. He also consistently seemed to be able to trigger Admiral Beckett Brass's end of turn trigger, and steal valuable creatures like Olivia Voldaren and the Patron of the Vein. I think in this case, this was probably the most conservative I've ever seen an Edgar Markov player play. I know Ricker didn't really want to stir the pot and make any enemies, but all that really seemed to happen was he built up a massive army of vampire tokens that would then get bounced or basically weren't able to attack until it was too late. Please be sure to tune in every Monday and Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for a guaranteed new video. You can also follow me on Twitter at MTGMudsta. You can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/mtgmudsta. And lastly, you can check me out when I stream at twitch.tv/mtgmudsta. This video is brought to you in support by my patrons. If you're looking for a way to help out the channel, please be sure to visit the link below. Thank you all for watching this video, and don't forget, friends are just opponents you haven't eliminated yet.